is it looking increasingly more likely that Joe Biden will get the 270 Electoral College votes?
Well, good morning, Danica. Yes, I think he's going to get. I think he's going to get up. It's a much closer race than anybody thought. I mean, all the polls said that Biden was going to run away with it. He's lucky to get out of this thing alive. And even then, he's not going to have a Senate on his side. He's lost seats in the House of Representatives. So we have 4 more years of gridlock coming up in Washington. Look, what Donald Trump is trying to do, and there's nothing about his career that suggests that he's a good loser. He's creating a story before he leaves, and he knows this going to the courts isn't going to make any difference. The votes will be counted by that. And then it's very important for him to establish a story. He wants to control the narrative. Now, Americans aren't believing the story about the legal approach to this. That is, there's something wrong with the votes. What they do understand is, and what has happened often in American life, in all of our lifetimes, is that some elections have been stolen. When I was a kid in 1960, the Chicago labor unions, working together with the Chicago mafia, stole the election for John Kennedy, and Richard Nixon could have gone to the Supreme Court and probably won, but he regarded the presidency as more important than himself. Same thing when Gore was defeated by Bush in 2000. He could have gone to court, but it was too big. But there's nothing about Donald Trump's last 4 years that suggests that he thinks the office is greater than himself, so he's going to fight. Now, keep in mind, his vote has gone from 63 million to 70 million popular vote. That's extraordinary. He's got 87 million followers on his Twitter account, and this man's not going away. And I've heard that he knows he's going to lose. He's going to set up some cable television, and he hopes that his 70 million followers all pay $6.99 a month to join him. Well, and just do the math.
Well, look, I guess anything really is possible. But as you said, it does appear like it could be slipping away from Donald Trump now. His legal challenges have been dismissed in the key states of Michigan and Georgia. How big of a setback would that be for the president?
Oh, he knows he's not going to win. I mean, even if he got to the Supreme Court justices, they're not going to sully their careers by being identified with this. There isn't anything wrong. I mean, they're counting the votes. We use an expression in the business, counterintuitive. A child can see there's something wrong with this picture. The man is about ready to lose an election, so he cries foul and says that these votes are all rigged. They're showing up in trucks, and they're all being opened up by people who support Joe Biden. Well, that's not it at all. People can see that. Unfortunately, though, we're probably going to have some post-election violence. We certainly have a very divided America. I mean, America was divided when Donald Trump was elected, and it's even more divided now after he has been defeated. But he'll go. I mean, he will lose the election. I mean, there are some other paths. I mean, he can get the governors of the states that are favorable to Republicans to send their own electors to Washington on December 14th, which vote for Trump. But I don't know if they want to go down that route. He had some other ways to do it, maybe through Congress or the House of Representatives if it was a tie. But look, I think Joe Biden has won this election. We've all seen enough cowboy movies to know how things turn out, and Biden has won on points, so to speak. He's fought a nice fight. He didn't win what he thought he was going to win, but he got across the line. And so I think Trump is going to have to figure out some way to disengage from Washington. And will he leave the White House? Well, he'll lose. After he loses, he's just going to go home like everybody else, but he's going to go home with the story he wants to tell.
Well, that's very true. In terms of the states still in play, if we look at Georgia, North Carolina and Pennsylvania, are any of those still a possible pathway to victory for Donald Trump, or is that now really unlikely?
Well, if you believe in God and expect a miracle in your lifetime, I suppose it could happen, but I don't think so. These ballots coming in tend to favor Joe Biden by about 6 out of 8 or 75%. Just on the law of probability and how it's been playing out so far, I don't see how he can do it. But then again, Donald Trump has done a lot of things we never expected him to do. No, I don't think this is going to work out because the preponderance of the votes are going towards the Democrats, as we thought they would with the ballots. And so I think he's sort of dreaming here. I mean, it could turn out that way, but I think it won't. Look, the odds on Trump were about $2.50. It's about right because Biden was $1.53. So I think the bookies got this one right again, Danica.
All right, just finally on the protests, which you did mention, we've already seen a lot of unrest already beginning. Is there a worry that this could get worse if Joe Biden ends up getting that 270 electoral college votes that he needs? Do you suspect that there'll be even further clashes?
Oh, yeah. Look, I don't want to be dreary on a Friday morning, but we're going to have post-election violence as sure as God made little green apples, because every time you're going to have a social protest, it's going to morph into some kind of a riot. And there are going to be counter-protesters there. And in a lot of these places, it's open gun carry states. You got people with guns on both sides. It's just a matter of time. And I don't forgive the president for encouraging his supporters to take up his fight. He even has a fighting fund out, a defense fund, that gives the impression that, he's going into the hills. And I think he has empowered a whole lot of strange people out there to fight his fight. And he's sort of given some people a blank check. And this is a terrible idea, and I think this is where it's going to backfire on him. And, a lot of the people who might get in trouble, that is some of the people who carry these guns, they didn't even vote for Donald Trump. They don't come out of the hills. But, he's literally empowered them to fight his fight. That's why it's important for him to say that the election was stolen. And like Robert E. Lee, he's just not going away. Or unlike Robert Lee, he's not going to go away quietly. The great thing about the Southern general who lost the Civil War is he told his people to put their guns down and go home. Donald Trump didn't tell them to do that. He told them to put their guns on and stand by.